you guys, the time has come. Literally, one of you asked for it. Maybe. It was probably mostly me and my friend Matt, who's coming down here in a second. I, amongst many of my friends, have heated debates about Taylor Swift. And she has bangers, admittedly, but I've always thought she was a terrible human being. Many disagree with me. She's like the sixth most followed person on Instagram, so clearly I'm probably in the minority. But I was having a discussion with my friend Matt Krol, who's going to come out here momentarily. He's not Gigi Duck and Demon, by the way. We've already established that. He's just another friend and trusted colleague from a different thing. And he didn't know a lot about why people dislike Taylor Swift, and he was curious that she was such sort of like a polarizing person. And so he kind of wanted to defend her honor and dig in and do some research and go head to head with me. So let's once and for all decide how you should feel about Taylor Swift. This is the great Taylor Swift debate. So get in here.
Hey! Hi, Joe.
Oh my God, it's so good to see
Thank
you
you
for the first time on this night.
I know it's been I've been watching a long time.
Oh my God, you often will comment, which is nice.
Yeah,
and
no,
I just really appreciate it.
It's really great to be here, and I'm psyched. I made my own shirt. I don't know if you can see it. Yep.
I love that you did that, and also
no, you don't.
I do love it. And I was gonna put this on, but then I feel like my outfit is so fun I can't deprive the people. But I just want you to know what you're in for. And I was a debate champion at Krol and Eric High School.
Whoa.
I don't know if it was 1999. So sorry.
All right.
We got Christina. Christina, pay attention.
I mean, that's only 10 years after 1989. So anyway, look. Well, I mean, I brought a lot of information.
But wasn't it? It was hard.
It was.
So basically, let's talk about really quick how it's going to go, and then we'll bring out our moderator. But
yes,
basically,
we need
what
one.
we thought, since the show's clearly not professional, we just thought we'd make up our own debate situation.
Yeah.
And this is what we decided by talking on G-Chat for 45 seconds one day.
Yes.
We're each going to give a 1-minute opening statement. Based on the premise, should we, the people, be for or against Taylor Swift? We're going to be timed. And then our moderator, surprise moderator, is going to come out, is going to ask us 3 questions that are a surprise that we don't know about. Isn't that correct? Do you know the questions?
I do not know the questions.
I don't know the questions. Nobody knows the questions. It's going to be a surprise. That's the definition of it. And then we're going to give a 1-minute closing statement.
That is right.
And then we're going to win a secret fabulous prize.
It's gonna be great.
Let's get our moderator, who you know is tonight's guest, Eric Cunningham!
Oh, we're going to get real time.
Oh my God.
We're getting
How is this maybe the most important thing you've ever participated in your life?
I mean, the
great.
support. I love it. I'm so excited.
Do you, and I mean, we'll talk more about this later, but just in a quick log line, you don't tell us what, but do you have a strong opinion about Taylor Swift?
I don't have a strong opinion.
So
I
you're the
think
perfect
I'm
moderator.
right here.
Okay, good.
I have a lot of opinions, but I feel like they're canceling each other
You
out.
are literally and figuratively in the middle.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, I can be straight.
I'm very excited to have you here. Do you also, were you a debate person in high school?
No,
you seem
no,
like
no,
you
no.
would be.
No.
That's very, I don't know. You have glasses.
You're like a nerd. You brought the debate.
You have glasses and you're a person. I just thought it just seemed like.
No, I never did it, but I admire people who did.
Okay.
Well, I would admire them more if they wore their shirt, though. If they were real proud about it.
Over this jumpsuit? Come on! Look at this Aztec type necklace. All right. Lisa's on camera too. She's going to get right up over faces, so it can be very official. I feel like, though, well, and we didn't talk about this, and you tell me, and I'm happy to, but I feel like since you're sort of in the defense of, you should go first.
I'd be happy to. I don't care one way or the other.
I think you should go first, and you should lay it on a positive vibe so I can come in and burn it to the ground.
Okay, great. So, I guess we going... You let me know, Christina, when we've started.
Well, Eric will call it.
Oh, okay.
And that's what he does as the moderator.
Okay, great. So you have 1 minute to be pro Taylor.
Okay. Gonna try to finish this.
It begins now.
All right, here we go.
Oh, wait. Oh, there we go.
That's 5, 4, 3?
Sorry. It begins in 3, 2,
1. There we
1.
go. Okay, Chelsea, I know you are in trouble. Ladies and gentlemen of the esteemed internet, my name is Matthew Krol, and I look at what you made me do. After all of the mean and unjust vitriol spewed to this cultural icon, I come here today with one goal: to prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that Taylor Allison Swift is not only someone who doesn't deserve the level of scorn and vitriol thrown at her for merely existing, but she also unequivocally is one of the greatest and most fearless pop stars of this or any generation. Even though my opponent may have some bad blood with Taylor, I'm committed to shaking it off and taking all of the unjust hatred for Miss Swift and just throwing it away. I know all too well that she will attempt, to fill the blank spaces left with doubt. However, I promise that by the time I finish with this evening, we will all be out of the woods. I will prove today, based on one simple fact, that love or hate her music, a pop star's job is to stay in the public eye and to sell said music. And you belong with me, Internet. Let's do this!
Very good.
All right. Oh shit! My back popped up again. David.
1999 debate champion Chelsea White.
This is those curveballs. You have to
Taylor.
All right.
Okay.
Anti-Taylor Swift debate to begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Ladies, gentlemen, cats, we're gathered here today to prove why you should, nay must, reject Taylor Swift. My opponent will try to distract you with funny plays on Taylor Swift lyrics, but this is not a funny, frivolous matter, because Taylor is not just a fluffy, frivolous pop star. Her fans idolize her, and moreover, she claims to be a role model. In an interview on Live with Kelly, Taylor once said, if you're choosing to put out music and be out there in the public, you have to be conscious of the fact that you're a part of raising the next generation, and you do have an impact on that. So choose your outfits and your words and your actions carefully. So Taylor is claiming to be a role model, but she is not. She's giving millions of impressionable minds who look up to her terrible ideals, such as fake feminism, claiming to be one but releasing misogynistic lyrics, such as in You Belong With Me, where she shames her classmate for wearing short skirts and oh god, and then also makes a career out of being a victim and has never defended Donald Trump, even though Breitbart talks about her as being an
You're done. And you're right. She has never defended Donald Trump. That's exactly correct what you just said. She's never defended him. That's just great. That's great. All right.
I know what I meant.
Oh yeah, we know. I heard you.
I was confused by the Donald Trump catnip in there.
Well, it is
giving
potent.
into
No,
Woo! Is it hot in here?
No, yes, a little bit.
All right. It's very hot.
Okay, we on to questions?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's go.
Okay,
These are questions that we don't know. Hold on, I need my...
These are 4 questions you've never seen before about Taylor Swift. We'll alternate pro and con.
Okay.
But first, who do you think Taylor Swift voted for in the 2016 presidential election and why?
Oh. And are you guys just going to yell at us to cut us off? I forget how much time we
have.
You just interrupt and tell us
when
you're
we're
done.
done.
Right.
Sure.
Just be like
Am
you're
I
done.
starting?
Go ahead,
I
Matthew.
honestly don't exactly know who she voted for.
Well, who do you think, based on your
Who do I think?
Sure.
I didn't read any of her political stances. I thought we were debating if or not she was a proper pop star.
You had to guess.
If I had to guess,
Maybe she's never
Well,
done
Christina, don't give him any hints.
you know what? No, you know what? This is what I'm going to say. I don't think she voted. And now that is
She did
deplorable.
vote. She did take a
She
picture.
did?
She's in the vote. In line.
But you never see in the booth.
So you think she showed up and
She showed up and didn't vote.
Okay.
That's my vote.
All right.
That's
And
my
who do you
vote.
think she voted for?
I think that she did vote actually for Hillary Clinton, but that she'll never admit it because one of the most horrific things and dangerous things about her is that she is idolized by young women, but she will not take a stance on anything. And in times like this, it is imperative to take a stance. Even if she did want to say, I like Donald Trump, then at least say that. Like,
Well, what
take
about
a
this?
fucking stance
Can
on
we go back
anything,
and forth
Taylor.
or no? How does this
You're
work?
a role model. You said it.
So she never takes a stance on anything. What about the court case where she just took the fucking asshole to court that was
For touching her asshole?
sexually assaulting her? Yeah.
Wait, are we allowed to cross-examine
Yeah.
each other? Yeah, okay, so she took
that's
a
not-
stance on something that personally affected her, but she won't take a stance on anything that affects humanity.
I'm sorry, hold on. Are we debating her relevance and how she should be a pop star, or debating if we want to hang out with this girl?
We're debating whether or not we should be for or against her, and
Yes.
I think we should be against her.
You should be against her
Because
for
she-
only defending herself.
Because she claims she purports herself to be a role model. And in that instance, she sets herself apart from 99% of the other pop stars who actually say, I hate being a role model. I don't think I am.
99% of the pop stars are bullshitting you because they know exactly where they are. At
Right,
least
that's
she's saying
The
what she believes is
Questions
true.
about the election. I strongly think she voted for Donald Trump.
Three different answers.
Three different answers. Strongly think. All right. What Sex and the City character do you think Taylor relates to the most, and why?
I love this.
Can you take this one? Because I can't even name them.
I will definitely take it. Also, I just want to point out that my cat Tanuki looks very alarmed by this whole conversation. His ears
yeah.
are back and he's meditating.
Oh, no.
He's like having a moment. He's like, God help us all. He's saying a prayer.
Sex and the City.
Okay, Sex and the City character. I would say Charlotte, because she's just she likes to remain very like good face forward and neutral and not cause a ruckus, and is just sort of shallow and superficial in that way, and doesn't really want to take a stance that disrupts anyone, because she doesn't want anything to disrupt her own self-image and everyone else is expecting.
Is Charlotte the neurotic one?
No. She's like the fancy Upper East Side.
Miranda's the...
Charlotte's like the prude.
Yeah.
And then who's... Name the four? Sorry,
So
Carrie?
Miranda's like the sex crazed one. Carrie's,
The main one.
Miranda's the neurotic one. And then...
I would say Miranda.
Miranda has red hair.
Yeah.
I would say Miranda then. Because I think a lot of the problems that people have with Taylor Swift and her sort of persona of herself is that I don't think, weirdly enough, that Taylor Swift is actually comfortable in her own skin. She never looks like at ease at all.
I'll buy that.
And honestly,
agree on that.
and honestly, I mean, I don't want to make this like.
Make it weird. My dad's watching. He said this is delightful content.
Okay, great.
So just go in.
Your dad loves content.
Your dad loves content. No, but coming
blogger.
from someone who's had a bit, and I'm talking for myself here, who's had a bit of social anxiety when sort of being either public speaking or doing whatever. Think of the level that she's on. And holy shit, everything is going to be scrutinized and insane. So I think, as far as Sex and the City characters goes, she's the neurotic one whose name I already forgot.
But she self-identifies.
She's building. I think because I think honestly, no matter what, she tries to do all these personas like a lot of pop stars do. There's no question.
Right.
But I mean, what pop stars basically do? There's like a cycle, right?
Sure.
They go portray an image. They interact with fans in weird, interesting ways.
Sure.
They have romantic drama with famous people. Boom, done. Then they have some drama with other artists. We're there right now. They have kind of a fall from grace moment, and then they repeat and redo themselves. That's what all of them do.
Okay.
And she's honestly, I think, one of the more forward with who she actually is as a very neurotic, self-conscious person.
Sure, but I will just repeat myself by saying we're not debating whether or not she's a typical pop star. We're saying should be for or against.
I'm saying
her.
she's the greatest pop star, and therefore, if you like pop music,
right.
I do.
Correct.
All right, Eric, next question.
How seriously we took that last question. That is very good. Does Taylor Swift actually like cats, or is it part of a persona?
Oh, interesting. I mean, I'll
You go for it.
I think absolutely. I've actually watched a bunch of videos with her and her cats, and I have to say, and I don't mean this as an insult. This is a high compliment.
Oh God.
Some of the videos and the interactions kind of remind me of you, Chuck.
Oh God.
It's very loving. It's very affectionate. It's very silly. So yes, I do believe she actually loves her cats.
Do you believe she loves her cats?
I actually do think she loves her cats. But I don't think she loves her cats as much as she loved tweeting at Nicki Minaj in 2016.
Debate team! Debate team!
Thinking Nicki Minaj's commentary about the underrepresentation about women in color being nominated for major awards about her, and taking it as a direct attack on her instead of realizing that it had nothing to do with you.
You know what? Actually, that answer has nothing to do with cats.
All right.
So,
last question.
Yeah.
Do you think Taylor's 2014 squad is now embarrassed to be included in that group? Who of them and why?
Okay.
I don't even know who these squads are.
Well, just in generalities, then maybe if you were part of Taylor's squad.
Okay, I
give you
think
some names.
this is the deal. I'll say this. So, say we're going on the premise of that they are embarrassed, right? I don't give a shit, and here's why.
Oh, boy.
If you are part of a pop star's squad, guess what? You better be smart enough to know that you will be disposed upon the next birth out of a cocoon to be something else. You should know that going in, and if you don't and you think you're best friends, you need to take a hard look at yourself in the mirror and figure out why you're latching yourself onto another person like that.
Ooh, edgy.
And disruptive!
Does he get points for using the word cocoon?
Yeah, very cool. I liked it.
Thank you.
I didn't know. I didn't prepare any, cocoon analogies.
Off the dome.
I think that, I guess I do kind of agree in that I think that none of the participants in her squad were sincere, and I think they all saw it as sort of a marketing opportunity for themselves, and so I think they don't have, the people that participate in our squad aren't the type of people who would even have the self-awareness to know they should be embarrassed. They just are like willing participants in the tomfoolery.
Then I also don't give a shit about them. And I don't blame Taylor for also not as well. If they're just coming to latch on, then who gives a fuck?
Well, but do you blame Taylor for then using her squad to like prop up her fake feminism and be like, look, I have friends who are girls, which is like, but then writes misogynistic lyrics and doesn't even, she tweeted about the Women's March like 2 days after.
Let's talk about misogynistic lyrics. Let's talk about that. I'm sorry. Just almost, and I'm not saying, and I haven't gone through the entire catalog. I've only honestly jumped on the Taylor train. I think these cards say I'm not. Also, you're absolutely right. She did not vote for Donald Trump. I'm just repeating your opening statement.
She did defend Donald Trump.
Yeah,
she definitely did vote for
She
Donald
did. She did vote for him, but she didn't.
She didn't defend him.
She didn't put him down publicly.
Sure. Now you're changing your opening statement, and I'm getting confused.
Well, that's not what I mean.
All right, should we move on to closing?
Yes,
Okay, closing.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
No, I started, so you go first.
Okay, great. Here we go. Hold on. I had other cards. Okay, great.
4, 3, 2,
We only have a minute.
My opponent will try to say that no pop star is blameless and that they're all peddling some sort of foolery. But the only question today is, should we, the people, be for or against Taylor Swift? And furthermore, it is within our rights to hold pop stars also to standards. And no human is perfect, but there are many who meet the standards of being on the right side of important issues, which is the point here, and being a good role model, such as Beyonce. Even Lady Gaga and Katy Perry, even if you don't agree with them, at least they're taking a stand on something. And in more ways than Taylor Swift, because she hasn't expressed his opinions on important subjects and are role models for young women of what strong, opinionated, powerful, independent women look like. And that is why we should reject Taylor Swift and her hollow, phony, cowardly, disingenuous, perpetual victim routine that's not at all edgy or loud or disruptive. It's quiet. It's
Just filling time. Wow. You didn't even bother to prepare a full minute.
Wow.
I love it. Excellent.
Thank you.
Closing statement.
right.
Oh, wait, another
Yeah,
card.
here we go.
I'm ready.
And closing.
Look, we've heard a lot of information here tonight, and I stand by each and every point I've made. Taylor Swift's job is a pop star. She is supposed to put out easily enjoyable, digestible music while furthering that goal and staying in the public eye one way or another. She does all that in spades, but not only that, I think it's time we get honest with ourselves for a minute, okay? This outrage and hatred at my opponent has distributed throughout this debate isn't about Taylor at all. It's actually about us as individual people making up a culture. It's easy for us to get angry at Taylor and Taylor playing the victim, and then have us not work towards the end of ending victim ourselves. We're putting a lot of onus on this woman that we've never met. And it's just absolutely wrong. My argument is that Taylor Swift is a pop star doing her job. You can't argue that she's not doing that to a T, no pun intended. So my final point might be the scariest of all. Maybe if we stopped attacking her for what we all think she should or shouldn't be doing, we would have to take too much time to look inward at our own flaws and see that with some effort, we ourselves could change the world in all the ways we're blaming Taylor for not doing.
Whoa!
Everybody relax.
Hold my
Let's
beer.
just all calm down.
All right.
All right, so on the premise of should we be for or against Taylor Swift, Eric?
Who did a better job presenting
proves-
their
Because that's the debate.
Okay.
That's the debate rules. That's
Great.
That's how debates work.
The thing that
Hold
won-
on, wait. Let's see who George White thought won.
Oh yeah.
Dad, who won?
Now we have to wait
I
7
love
seconds
you.
because there's a delay.
Oh,
Oh, wait. Let's before you announce the winner. Austin Breslow says Eric Cunningham for president.
Ah!
Oh,
2020.
Christina's friend Ashley said that I'm winning.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a long time. That was before most of my main points. So
Oh, my improv friend Ross said something creepy, and then my best friend Lindsay's dad Bob said hi. Hi, Bob.
that was for me. That was a
All right,
vote for me.
great. Okay, fine.
So I will say,
Mm-hmm.
in what was presented, the thing that really won me over was, in your opening statement, you predicted that your opening statement would be full of puns based on predicted it and delivered even after going second. So I have to give it to Chelsea for the debate.
Wait, that was an add-on, by the way. She didn't predict shit. She heard my thing and then she just added it up.
Excellent ad-lib. Wait, no.
Is it written?
It was in there. It was in there. I was like, that is amazing that she predicted
says-
it.
Today, I'll read
My
it.
opponent will try to distract you as many plays on lyrics.
Oh yeah, I did. Technically, they were titles. They were song titles, not lyrics. But that's
All right.
Chelsea.
So excellent.
This
So
was
we're gonna both have.
Krol, thank you so much. Worthy of
Thank you.
voting and also boning up in your Taylor Swift knowledge
Yeah, you
in a
know.
short time frame. Eric, thank you for moderating.
course.
Oh
Thank you
wait,
very much.
I think though, don't I get a prize?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
you do. I think you. Oh wow. I wish I won this.
I
This
heard.
is so
I heard
sad.
that it was something. I heard that the
All right.
prize is something Taylor Swift would love.
Well, here you go.
Oh my God, it's a tiara!
Excellent.
And
Oh my God!
apparently Thanksgiving
And a
feast candle.
scented candle! I feel like Taylor Swift.
Chelsea, I gotta go
Oh
do a
my God,
podcast.
Thank you. All right, do a podcast.
Oh.
Thank you.